welcome back to Bachelor Buzz, the best place to come for recaps on your favorite reality TV dating show and the latest in Bachelor Nation news. We're your hosts, Arena.
And Julia, and today we are going to dissect and digest and figure out what happened on the Fantasy Suite episode of
Yes.
Grant's season, Bachelor season 29. So, man, we will talk about it. But first off, how are you feeling today, Arena? We feeling good?
Feeling good, feeling a little
fresh?
tired, not because of
Yeah.
the episode, but just because we both have a lot going on, and it's just, honestly, it's only like 5 something my time, and I'm already yawning. Like, I could literally probably go to sleep. Like, after this, like, I could right after just curl up in bed with my cat and go to sleep.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait for like spring to really come because I feel like I just like need sunlight. I need the energy of the sun to power me. I'm
Vitamin
like a
D.
plant. Yes, for real. Although I did want to tell you, I don't know if you like Meghan Markle or Meghan Sussex, as we learned is her
Although,
true
can
name.
I comment on that real quick?
Oh,
Mountbatten Windsor is supposed to be her last name.
they can use any of those last names.
Okay.
Yeah, they can use any of them. It's kind of weird, but
It is, well,
it's royal.
they're royal.
They're royal. They can do whatever they want, right? And I know she's kind of a controversial character, but personally, I don't really care. I like her. I like her show on Netflix, and I made the viral pasta that she
Did
put
you?
out on there.
Nice.
The one pot pasta. It's like lemony, tomato, garlic. It was so good. I added a little more lemon and garlic, and actually some red pepper flakes to mine, and it was really good. But like, yeah, it actually turned out good. It's very light and like healthy. So I made that, and then I made my husband some chicken on the side. He loved it. So yeah, anyways, that was like my highlight of the day.
Nice. And that's
I'm not really a big cook, so I need something easy, you know?
Well, that's the point of her show too, to like, so that people
Mhm.
can do things like that. And even like, from what I understand, I haven't watched her show yet.
Yeah.
And but from what I understand, it's also just different things that she does for her kids and like making little,
Yes.
like,
It's
goodies.
I never watched Martha Stewart, but apparently it's kind of like that vibe. Just
That's
like
what I
spend a
heard.
day with me and like do all these little things that I like to do to home make. And it's cool. I mean, like I literally learned so much. I learned how to make focaccia bread,
Oh
learned how to make
gosh.
Epsom salts for my bath, which I don't ever take baths. And what else? She also talks a lot about like edible flowers that you can just grow in your backyard. And I want to do that now because I'm definitely an edible flower type of person. You didn't come to my wedding, but at our wedding, our signature drink was a pisco flower, where it was like a pisco sour, but we put one of those really bright, like those magenta, very like tropical edible flowers on the drink, and it was so cute, and everyone loved it, and I loved it because it's a flower in my drink.
Yeah. No,
So
that's so cool.
yeah, so that's what I've been doing like all weekend, watching her and just like wanting to make everything she made.
Well, see, I like though also that, speaking of her name, I like that
Oh
she
yeah,
like her, not because she corrected her friend Mindy Kaling, but
she
that
did.
she made, I know like she did, but like I'm not saying it like I'm glad she corrected her. It's just in general, I'm glad she corrected it because this entire time since she married Prince Harry, everyone's, not everyone, but a lot of people still call her Meghan Markle, and I just feel like
You
no, she's
know,
not. Like
that's such a good point. We
like
call Princess Kate
mm-hmm.
Kate Middleton. Why aren't we calling her Princess Megan? I don't know what happened. I don't
Well, she's
understand
a
all the
duchess.
dynamics
She's not a
royal.
princess,
Is
but
that
she's
what
a
happened?
duchess.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah,
I
but
don't really,
still.
again, I don't really like follow it. Like I know a lot of people like were mad about her show, but I thought it was adorable. I don't know. Maybe you
I
just have to be a like I don't know.
I
Just have
don't,
to be interested in that kind of
people
stuff.
are always really like, seem like they're really
People
mad
always
at
find something
them.
to hate.
Like, I
Yes.
don't get it. It's just let them be. Just let
Yeah.
them be. I don't
Hmm.
like.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, so that was
Anywho.
very fun, and I took a picture of it. Maybe I'll post it to the story. I don't know. I'm really proud of it. It
Why
actually turned out
not?
better than I expected. It
Dang,
really
that's
did. So,
awesome.
yeah. Anywho, yeah. So, I also am tired. I was very busy all day. running around. But I'm glad we're here together. It's always great to catch up with you, Arena,
Yeah.
and talk about our favorite show,
Talk
The
about
Bachelor.
and
Our favorite Bachelor.
there's a lot happening now. It's getting
Hmm.
entertaining. So
It is.
um
Although I'm not gonna lie, we called everything in this episode
we did. I mean, we totally
with
did,
the help
guys.
of Natalie too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Natalie like reconfirmed it for us. We were already like, we think this is what's going to happen, but I love when Natalie comes on because it's
Mhm.
like she makes me feel like, wow, I really know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know.
I'm like, yes.
It's almost like she's giving us the answers to the
Yes.
quiz.
Yes. It's like, are you
Again, we don't know
okay?
what will happen in the end,
Yes.
and we're still curious to compare what she predicted from
Mhm.
the star signs and the
Mhm.
tarot reading
Yeah.
from last week's bonus episode. In case you guys didn't see it, it was our star sign episode, which we do for the
Yeah.
final fantasy suites every season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette. And it'll be really fun to see. But I think that we are all really on point
Mhm.
for what happened. So
Yeah. It'll
should we
be
get into
interesting
it?
to see, yeah,
Yeah.
and not just at the final episode who he ends up with in that episode, but also
Mhm.
long term.
What happens after? Hmm.
So we'll have to probably wait. We might have to wait, guys, a couple years, but we'll really know.
Yes, we
We'll
will.
be right back here talking about.
Oh, yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, let's get
yes,
started.
let's start. So, I mean, first things first, we always want to think about that opening, the cold
Mhm.
open. It just showed the Bachelor, brick wall, Grant sitting there looking in pain. He was wincing in this shot. And I was thinking, and I actually reviewed the beginnings, all the openings. And like the beginning, the first two, three episodes, he's like dancing in front of the
Mhm.
brick wall with the Bachelor. Another one, he's just kind of sitting there looking like suave. And then now we're at this point where he's just looking like, I'm sorry, like I'm hurting. This isn't
Mhm.
fun anymore. And I'm just like, they really give it away in these opening scenes. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I wanted to draw attention to that. So here we are seeing his, I don't know, demise. What do you think?
Yeah, because he says that at the end, and like you
Yeah.
said, that is very telling of the episode in those intros. So I think that's on purpose and
Hmm.
intentional, and they did that. So,
Yeah.
we go in, and at first we see him just like they're showing him around the Dominican Republic because he played professional
Yeah.
basketball there. His grandmother is Dominican, and she's the
Hmm.
one that just passed away. That was featured in the first episode of the season.
Yeah.
And he is just talking about it. Then he's playing basketball with Jesse and two other guys who I'm wondering, are they from production? So they were
No
like,
idea.
guys, get out there. Can you play basketball? You can play.
Yeah, we
Okay,
need
let's
a
just
team.
shoot it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So they're sweating immensely in this episode too, for obvious reasons, guys. This is like the tropics. This is tropical weather.
Yes.
This is humid.
Punta Cana, I went there once and it was amazing, but it really was a very hot, humid place. I remember that.
You can tell.
Like
You can
that was
tell.
one of the trips where like I didn't even touch my straightener or my curler because it was like no point. Um so yeah, takes me back. But it was a very nice montage they did of
It
Punta
was.
Cana. Like, I think it was Jenna from Date Card Pod who talked about like the production value
Yeah.
of this season and just like the artistry that they've done to really like do some really good videography and stuff. And I think
Mhm.
that they again kind of demonstrated some really like a big improvement in just showcasing like the place that they were. So that was cool.
Yeah, and they definitely, I mean, we've talked about how the show has changed behind the scenes, of course, but the positive note about that is that the production value has gone up
Yeah.
significantly on this show because for a while there, it was looking pretty plain, basic, same old
Yeah.
thing over and over and over. But now we're seeing with these seasons, since production or producers change and everything like that, that it's improved. It's much better. Can't speak to other things going on with the changes, but at least for the production value and
Yeah.
post production, it's better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see that for sure.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. We have the first person is Juliana, and I am
Yes.
so excited to see Daisy like
I know. What a
show up.
surprise.
I was like,
Daisy, so she spoke with Juliana.
yay!
She looked great.
Hmm.
She was super sweet,
Yeah, of course,
and
Daisy.
it was just nice to see her and have her talk through everything with Juliana. So,
Hmm.
I feel like Juliana felt better. How did
Yeah,
you feel,
I
like,
think
after
she
talking to her?
did, and I feel as though she felt as good as she was gonna feel, probably
Yeah.
considering the situation. But
Hmm.
I will say I thought it was. I don't. It's hard with this show because I'm always trying to read between the lines and think about that was a conscious choice. But them sending Daisy in, who was the
Yeah.
second, the runner
Hmm.
up from Joey's season, to talk to
Yeah.
Juliana was interesting. We obviously don't know what's going to happen, and they did not know at that point what was going to happen
Yeah.
in that next for the engagement. But I thought that was interesting. Their choice.
Yes. And another thing I'll just talk about for a second is like Bachelor Data, who we follow for, literally all things Bachelor Data.
Hmm.
Um, that account, she pointed out that the first shown fantasy suite is never the winner. And that kind of broke my heart because I've been rooting for Juliana. But sometimes, I don't know, for some reason, I feel like they mix it up. They have to mix it up at some
Yeah.
point. It can't be
Yeah.
that predictable. You're talking 67% chance that I'm correct just from that, you know?
Hmm.
So, like, they have to mix it up.
Yeah. And I don't think you like obviously Bachelor Data is awesome and she's just stating facts. Obviously,
Yeah,
this
it's
is not
just the
her
past.
opinion.
Hmm.
Yeah. But like you said, they have to mix it up. And I think that they do because they would have to know that people are going to see a pattern. And also, honestly, before this season of The Bachelor, which once again, guys, I have not seen every single season since 2002, but I don't recall there being another time where someone got to fantasy suites who never had a one-on-one. So
Yeah,
I
I
thought
don't think
that was
so.
unusual. I thought once you got to top 7 and you still didn't get a one-on-one in the past, I was like, well, then you're not going top 4. You're not even going top 3. I was wrong. I was wrong.
That whole
So,
relationship,
mhm,
we'll talk about it, but like, yeah, I still just feel for Zoe. It's just
yeah.
the whole thing wasn't fair. It feels, just like how Rachel felt. It just felt like she didn't get enough time.
Hmm.
She didn't get enough like effort.
Yep,
And this is really even less than what Rachel got.
it
She didn't
is.
get a one-on-one,
Yeah.
or really he didn't meet her family. That is on her though. That was her choice. So it's not like against him. But it's just unfair to me how
It
everything
was. And I think
turned
his
out for
excuse
Zoe.
for it was never really that good, honestly.
No.
So,
Yeah. Ugh, we'll talk
but
about
yeah,
that more
we'll
in a
get to her.
moment.
Yeah.
But let's
Yeah.
talk about Juliana's date
Juliana.
with Grant.
Hmm.
I just think they're so cute. Um, I mean, I just think they're adorable. I like want them to be together. They call themselves the Wolf Pack.
They do.
Like
They're
what? Because they're
very
lone wolves.
they're
They're
very
so cute.
like cutesy together. They're
Yeah.
very like reminiscent for me of like what I would imagine is a really fun, cute relationship when people are getting together.
Yeah. Like the
And
early stages.
yeah, the early stages and in youth, like I feel like that
Hmm.
reminds me of that. And we'll see if they do end up together, like how long that goes, of course. But I do see it's very evident that they definitely both really like each other and they're both really, really into each other for sure. And she's very invested in him. And obviously, he's invested, but we all know, his heart is also with Latia too. But I feel as though it was a nice date. It was just like there's no issues with them. There's no
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like there's no real hardcore thing that has come up that is like a deal breaker or could be a deal breaker or anything like that. Like there's been with unfortunately Latia and
No.
the one thing.
Yeah. No,
So
there it's like she's almost like the easier choice. I think we mentioned that in another episode where it's like it could work, it could be fun and exciting, it could be love, But there's just something about Latia that just seems deeper, where it's like that could be like end game, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
So
I hate to compare them, but that's kind of what we're doing here on the show, right,
it
guys? So like we
is, yeah.
kind of have to, but yeah. So and then at their nighttime portion, Juliana was very much like she wanted to explain to Grant where she was coming from, and she mentioned the infidelity in her previous relationship, which was a long-term relationship, and she gave that guy so many chances that she should not have. But she explained that to him, and Grant was tearing up when he was listening to this and the pain that she went through. So it's
Yes.
obvious he cares for her. It's very obvious. But I think it's interesting that he once again said he was falling in love with her,
Hmm.
but
He
not that
didn't.
he's in love with
Yeah.
her.
And she didn't say I love you to him, did she?
No, she
Yeah,
did not.
smart girl. Because, like,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
people
Follow
should
the
not
lead
be
of the lead.
saying I love you
Mhm.
before they get engaged on this show. It's too many broken hearts if you do that.
Yes. It's a
And
lot. Or
Grant
if
was
you
so
do.
close.
Right? And then if you do feel like love for someone, it's probably the one person, just say it to the one person.
Exactly.
Don't
And if you have two people, then
don't say
just
it.
don't say it at all.
Say it. Don't say
Um,
it. Even if you feel it, stop yourself.
yes,
Don't say
right?
it.
Pump the brakes. But
Oh.
I did think it was really sweet how they talked a lot about like trying to open up and grow
Mhm,
together.
mhm.
I feel like that is something that is like the key to a man's heart, like that
Mhm,
emotional bond of like wanting to be better. Like if he
mhm.
wants to be better for you, like
Good.
that's good.
Yes.
And if he wants to emotionally open up to you, like that's
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah.
So I feel like these are all, again, like he is in love with her. He just hasn't said it. But I feel like these are all good signs that, it's happening. But again, like he has another girl. So yeah, so they go to Fantasy Suite. They get that key. They
Mhm.
run on up there.
Yeah.
Next morning, look very happy, like
Yeah.
holding hands in bed.
Mhm.
She said 12 out of 10 for the night.
Yeah, she did.
So she was happy.
Oh.
She's like, we had fun. And they answered a lot of questions that they had. So
Yeah.
good, good for them. That's what the Fantasy Suite is about. So,
Yes, it's a lot about learning about each other in different ways. So, yeah, so that ended and they had that time. Um, and it is obvious he feels very connected to Juliana. He
mhm,
is very emotionally invested, like you said. He is very close to her. He thinks she's beautiful no matter what. Um, and you feel it, you see it. You can just see it with those two. He goes on to Zoe the next day, and you can tell with his body language that it is not there. And it is
yeah,
nothing against Zoe, obviously. We've said this before. Zoe's a beautiful woman.
yeah,
She's lovely. And I think that we talked about this on paper they seem really right for each other and
yeah.
and you see them and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that could work, but it's just not
It's not
there the
there.
way it is with
And
the others. I mean, maybe if they
yeah.
weren't there, it would be there with Zoe, right? But
Yeah, if they just met in New York or
yeah,
something, maybe, but
he would probably ask her out and they would date.
yeah.
But I think
It's just
he wanted it to be with Zoe because he thought, I'm not,
she's
I'm speaking
sweet.
for him.
Yeah,
She's everything on paper for him, I think, and he thought, well, that makes sense, and he wanted it, and they're a lot alike in many ways too. But like we said, he's also looking for a family dynamic that is more seemingly more warm and big compared to what he experienced. And
yeah.
Zoe's family background is more like his.
Right.
And I think also that made them connect, obviously, and he liked that, but it just wasn't
But
there.
did it though? Or was he just reaching for things to say, we have this in common? This is our connection.
Well, that's
Like,
what he kept saying too. It was
yeah,
the same thing over and over again.
yeah.
It was
And,
nothing else.
something that I picked up on a lot this episode was that, like their date. Okay, silent yoga. First off, she doesn't like yoga. Neither of them know how to do yoga. Secondly, she has never had a one-on-one.
Yes.
They need to talk. They need to
Yes.
bond.
Ugh.
And to choose something that limits your ability to get to know someone verbally,
That was
only
telling.
physically,
Mm-hmm.
oh, yoga, partner yoga,
Mm-hmm.
like that really sucked for her.
Yeah.
And and then also like later on when they were talking, and he brought up about once again, like, oh, I didn't really need a one on one. Like, I just saw so much with you.
Mm-mm.
Like, I really feel like I just like I heard what I needed to hear. But what bothers me so much about those two things is that he's not at all considering what she needs to feel
Mm-hmm.
good about the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
She needs connection, she needs
Mm-hmm.
time, she needs bonding and like
Mm-hmm.
emotional connection. And he is only thinking about himself. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
He's only thinking, I feel good. Therefore, it is good. This is great. I want to meet your family. But she's like, I don't feel good. She does not feel good. I don't care what she says. She doesn't feel good. Like, she doesn't. She
No.
feels like how she was basically before hometowns
Yeah.
is how she feels.
Yeah.
Like, why am I here? You know? How could she feel good? Like, it's just, it's not enough.
It's just, it was such a,
Not fair for
I
her.
mean, I like Grant, but it was such a cop out. Like, I was so over him saying, like, I didn't need this. But no, you do. Because guess who got, like, so much time with you? The other two, Latia and
Mm-hmm.
Juliana, because
Yep.
he's so into them.
They
That
had
was a conscious
multiple one on
choice
ones.
to
Yep.
choose them for multiple one on ones. And Zoe didn't get any. It made no sense. And I think his excuse for it was just, it was lame. It was just
Wasn't
lame.
his brain talking.
It
I'll
was
say
not.
that.
Exactly. And like you're saying, with the silent yoga, he got very, you could tell he was very like into it physically with her. He loved it physically with her. But in terms of the fact that, like you said, when they said it was going to be silent yoga, I was like, seriously?
Ugh,
You guys need to talk. Like you just said, you guys, of all the people, she needed to talk.
she needed
And
like get to know you yoga. Like,
yes,
let's talk yoga.
yes. And it
Oh my
wasn't
God.
that. And it reminded me a little bit of Daisy's
Yep.
date, Fantasy
Mm-hmm.
Suite Day of Joey's season
Just
because they
felt so
did that
off. Yeah.
spiritual connection, which is beautiful, which is amazing. But she also really wanted to talk to him,
Mm-hmm.
and that was not happening. That was just like
Yep.
not going to happen. And she felt like they needed that time. And I just feel as though, I don't know, like, I think that production chooses who gets each date. And that sometimes I feel like, towards the end, they're just like, well, we know who it is. Let's just not waste time. I don't know. Like, and they're just like,
Yeah.
it's probably, and they're talking to him the whole time. Like, his dedicated producer's also talking to him the whole time. And they know. They really have a very good idea. It's Latia and Juliana at the end. But
Yeah.
I feel like Zoe didn't get a fair chance. But you know what? I just really hope for Zoe that she ends up in Bachelor in Paradise and that
Mhm.
she also, even if it's not in Bachelor in Paradise, because let's be honest, it's slim pickings. There's not a ton of really popular people in the Bachelor franchise to choose from at this point. So I think that I hope she meets someone, whether it's in the franchise. So if she does, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
sorry, great. But that I hope she will find the right guy, and as she said when she was
She
leaving, that will
will.
give her all the things and really see that she is the right one in the
Yes.
person. And I'm glad that she says that. So logically, she knows that's true, regardless of how she may feel at that time. That at least she
Yes.
knows.
I feel like what we're seeing here, like I can almost see it in like 3, 5 years where it's like we see her now and we'll keep following her. We will
Yes.
watch from afar. We will support her on
Yeah.
Instagram and wherever
Yeah.
else. And one day it's going to be a Michelle situation again, where it's like
Mhm.
we're going to see her just blossom
Yeah.
when she is loved correctly. And I'm just so
Yes.
excited for that, Zoe, because I want to see you
Yay.
blossom,
Yes.
love yourself first, and
Yeah.
then find someone who matches that same energy. And it's just going to be so fun to see how she blossoms.
Mhm.
as this is over and
Yeah,
as her
she
journey
will.
to find love continues. And
Hmm.
I just really see that for her because I know that she will make someone so happy and someone will make her happy. So,
Yeah, this is
yeah,
just the beginning, and this is just a nice platform that she had, but she's going on to bigger and better things with the right person. So that is really exciting to know that that is down the line for her, and I'm really happy for her about that. But yeah, I don't feel as though, I mean, it's
she
not
also had a
about,
very short, like everything with her was so short in
yes,
this episode, too. It
very
was like
brief.
blink, okay, night's over. And then it was
Oh,
like, bye, let's go to the beach and talk. Bye.
and then we didn't talk about, we forgot to mention Rachel shows up from Joey's
Oh my
season to
gosh. How do
talk
we
to
forget that?
her, which was also a conscious decision of
Yes.
production because Rachel was the third person.
Yep.
And that
They
was
definitely
cute.
did that on purpose.
Yes, he totally did. And even though Rachel got more time with Joey for sure, she actually got a one-on-one.
She did.
Like, she didn't get two like
And Joey
Daisy
and
and
her,
Kelsey
they
did.
had a palpable connection.
Hmm. They connected.
But
Because Rachel knew, and I feel like it was so fun though seeing Rachel. Because if
it
for
was
those of you who have been
fun.
following us in our first season of the Bachelor recaps that we've been doing, I was such a fan of Rachel the entire
You were
time.
always Team Rachel.
Always
Not that
Team
I
Rachel.
didn't like her, but
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I was a little bit more just like, okay, I think it's gonna be Daisy though. You know,
Oh yeah,
the
no,
whole
we knew.
time.
I mean,
Yeah.
I knew who it wasn't going to be her, but I was still Team
Yeah.
Rachel. I was
Team
still
Rachel,
like,
and we still are. And like she
yes,
is really sweet. She
mhm,
like responds to us on Instagram and stuff.
yes,
She responded to the thing we posted. She said, "Love y'all."
yes,
Like,
yeah.
we love you.
Love you, Rachel. I hope you're listening. I hope you listen to this.
I
But
know.
yeah,
It
we
was
think
good
you're
to see her.
awesome. So, but yeah, so that was really great. And like we said, just telling because she was the one who spoke to Zoe. So, that was
Hmm.
also like, by the way, Zoe's third. Um,
Yeah.
so they had a connection. It was great. So I hope they still stay connected after this. Maybe they'll both be on the beach this summer. Who knows? And I really just want to wrap up Zoe's and get into Latia's
Yep,
because
let's do it.
let's
So
go.
I was surprised to see who came out to talk to
Me
Latia,
too.
but it was such a pleasant surprise. Katie
Yes.
Bigger, the
Yes.
fiance of Zach Shoutcross.
Mhm.
If you don't know who they are, we did a couples profile on them
Yes.
last summer. So head
Mhm.
back, I don't know, 20 episodes ago
Yeah.
and check it out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we love Katie. She is great. We love her for Zach, but I think it was really smart they brought her on
Yes.
because she was involved in Zach's little sex week faux pas thing that he did. And she got through it. And I
Yes.
think that was really good for Latia to see, where it's like, okay, even if he does sleep with someone else, like
Mhm.
it could still be you. It could, you have to trust the journey. You have to like compartmentalize. Hopefully Grant doesn't break down and say anything silly like that, like which Zach did. But
Mhm.
anyways, yeah, I just thought that was a smart choice for
It
them.
was. It totally made sense. And I think that they really thought about that in terms of who they were going to invite to speak to her. Once again, also very telling that she is the one who ended up with Zach at the end of his
Mhm.
season. And I'm not saying this is foreshadowing, I'm just saying what production was probably thinking during this time because
They love
obviously
to
this is before the very
have
end. So
Easter
production doesn't
eggs.
even know who Grant is going to choose. Or I hate
Hmm.
saying that, who Grant ends up um, who ends up with Grant. I'll say that
Okay.
at the end of this. So, like you said, I thought it was great that it was Katie, and the fact that she also told Latia that it's totally fine that he knows that you don't want to hear about the other relationships and you don't want to hear about anything else because, like you had mentioned with Sex Week, you know, Zach told her in the beginning of their date, and it ruined.
And she was like, I don't want to hear about this, Zach.
Yes, not smart. So I like
Oh,
that
Zach.
Latia.
It's amazing that he pulls
Oh,
her.
oh my gosh, right?
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Kind
He
of.
made some mistakes, but he made some
He's a good
mistakes
guy.
that
He's
happen.
great. They're great
They are.
together.
They're
Like it,
they're going
it
the
makes me
distance,
like him
guys.
a lot more. Yeah, they're definitely end
For
game.
sure. Yeah.
And she's so
Um,
pretty.
and
They both are, Latia and her.
I like that Latia was very much like during her nighttime portion, we'll go back to their daytime, but during the nighttime portion, she told Grant, like, I don't want to hear about the other dates. I don't want to hear about the other relationships because she
Yes.
took that advice from Katie.
That was good advice.
Yes. And I'm
Because
glad that she did that.
the what Pisces slash Taurus in her would be
Mm-hmm.
spinning, her
Yeah.
mind would be spinning about that.
Yeah.
So,
Great idea for
um,
her to bring that up. But yeah, so they meet up and he's so happy to see
yeah.
Latia, of course. And they get on the zip line and they keep doing the zip line. And even though she's like, I don't know, like I'm nervous, I don't know if
Hmm.
my lunch is gonna come up,
She
she
like
still
doesn't
does
like
it.
adventurous things like that. Although ziplining is like not a big deal. I've done that so many times. I don't really
I've
like
done it,
adventure
but
things.
that distance they were going seemed pretty intense. And if you've never
Really?
done it
Mm.
before, I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's a
true.
little, I think it's frightening. But once you do it, then you're like, oh, let's do it again. Let's do it
I did
again.
it over the ocean
Totally makes
once.
sense. Oh my gosh. See,
I
no,
am
I did it
a
over trees like they
rock
did.
star. I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, no, that was cute. I felt like he should have swapped that date with Zoe's. I feel like Latia's much more of a silent yoga girl, but
She could have
I don't
totally
know.
did it and it
She
would have
could have
been
done that.
fine. Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
I
but it was
think he
cute.
wanted to see how they handled things together, like something
Yeah,
that could be frightening. And we
true.
hear this every season. Let's see how we handle things. And I don't mean to say it like that, but sometimes I'm like, okay, like I get why they do that, but also I feel like in life, and I'm probably just looking at this for face value. I feel like I am, but it's like in life, um, how many times are you going to zip line? But how many times are you going to have to
No,
deal with some serious stuff like deaths in your family,
right.
you
What
know,
happens when you lose your job
infidelity,
or
yeah,
something? Like,
financial issues.
yeah.
Can we simulate that? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Like we can't, right? But like I was like
No.
some real deal stuff that you deal with when you are married to
I
someone.
know. And that is like still one of my I think our main
Yeah,
complaints to Bachelor franchise. Like, please give them more like pertinent dates. I know they had that one financial savvy date, but that was
which
a
was
joke. It
yeah,
was a joke.
totally.
Like I wish that, sometimes on Bachelor in Paradise, like they've had ones where it's like, okay, like take care of these babies,
Hmm.
and that stuff is like actually fun to watch and
It's
it's
real.
actually helpful
Yeah.
for them to see, how the
Hmm.
other person does and functions and like their temperament and their problem solving skills. Like those are things that I looked for in a partner. And
Hmm.
like you just can't marry or get engaged to someone without knowing those things.
Exactly. And this is
So,
why the Bachelor franchise, the Bachelor flagship show, and Bachelorette are very much shows that are so rooted in just romance.
yeah,
And romance is
fairy
great, but
tale,
you need other things in your relationship.
practicality. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah. So, that was great. It was lovely. They sat by the water. They made out. It's beautiful. Like, and then we get to the nighttime portion, and
yay. That was crazy. I was
it was.
shocked. I
I
actually was
really
very
liked
shocked by
it.
some things. Yeah.
I really, yeah, I really liked it. It was definitely
I
very,
think that she gave him so much validation.
yeah,
And I think that's what he needed. I mean, at least that's what I needed from her. I'm like, girl, are you going to move for him? Like, are you okay with this? And like, guys, she said she would be willing to move.
yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So
She was smart to
that's
bring that up.
huge.
Yeah.
Yes. And she also said, I'm not going to be intimate with you tonight.
Yes.
Again,
Not have sex.
so
Yeah.
admirable.
Yeah.
They still spent the night together, but they did not supposedly have sex.
Mhm. I want
Which
to
again, I
believe.
think that's, I mean, who knows? But
I believe they didn't, but I don't know.
yeah,
She might just
I don't
be
know. I
intimate.
mean, I don't think she did because
Yeah,
like
because that's her more. That's her
it's
like,
like her religion and
and it's her
she
morals.
wouldn't
Like
have made
it's.
a big deal about it if she was gonna
Mhm.
plan to do that.
Yeah, yeah. To her, it seemed really important, and he was totally fine with it because he's so into her and he loves her so much. And also, he offered in saying, "I love you."
Yep.
The first one that he says it to. And she
But
says it
she said
back.
it back.
She said it
Yeah,
back.
that was crazy.
And then the next day,
Oh
when
God.
they're walking to the door and she's walking him out, and in his voiceover, he's like, oh, kind of like,
I kind of regret
yeah.
that.
And I was
I
like,
was like, and here it
yep.
is. Fuckboy Grant
Because
rearing his ugly head.
feeling
Fuckboy
like,
head.
he's like,
Sorry.
I'm feeling something for someone else. And we
Mm.
all know it's Juliana. Um,
Yes.
he's like, I'm feeling this for someone else too. And I basically probably shouldn't have said that. And it's like, yeah, but he was caught in the moment, but this is the show, right? And
Yeah. I
people
better
out
go
there,
tell Juliana now.
right?
Ugh.
But we're seeing
Yeah.
definitely what the teaser before the season started was all about. We're definitely seeing his conflict and how he's having trouble choosing between the final two. Um, so I'm really interested to see for sure how this is all going to go down. Because,
Yes, he literally doesn't know what to do.
oh my gosh,
So, obviously, he sends Zoe home. It was emotional, but it was the right thing.
it
We
was,
both know it.
it was, it just,
Um, yeah.
yeah.
But then they show him talking to his family, and
Mhm.
like you can just see how conflicted he is.
Mhm.
He's literally like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know. And part of me is like, come on, parents, like give him some ideas. They're all just staring at him like, yeah.
They want him to make that
His
decision
mom is
himself.
like not happy about it. I think she tells him like you should just leave both of them, right? Or
Well,
something. She was like, you need
there's
to
a
like
part
just
we don't know what the context was because they just show a clip of
true.
her
True, true,
saying
true.
like,
Sound bites.
um, she said something like that, like, then you need to just go or something. So we don't know what it was
Yeah.
about, but yeah, the mom for sure, because the mom, she's like, she's probably like, I can put myself in these women's shoes, and she's like, you need to figure it out. Like, do not lead these women on. And it's also interesting that, the fact that Grant is a day trader, so he's finance minded, so he's very much like, you make a decision, this is it. But with this, he's very indecisive. He doesn't know what to do. And he
Yeah.
even says, like, this is not like me at all. So that's
Yeah.
also, I think, why he's like in turmoil because not only is he not sure what to do, but this is not a regular personality trait of his, and he's feeling
Yeah.
very like
That's
anxiety, and
such a
he's
good
like,
point. It's almost like a little bit of
gosh,
an identity crisis.
yes,
He's like,
yeah,
who am I that I can't do this?
yeah,
Good
yeah.
point.
So that
Yeah.
makes it even more tense. Which, I mean, as the viewer, obviously, this is a TV show, guys. It's hey, we're watching it, we're seeing it. It's interesting
Expect
to
nothing
watch.
less. Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to see the man upset, but it's a show.
Yeah.
But also the fact that, at the end, not at the very end, but when he's in his ITM, and we were talking about this because Julia was helping me find it, I couldn't remember what he says at the end
Hmm.
after he's
Hmm.
talking to his parents before they show the teaser for next week. And he is basically saying, like, hey, well, I can't make a decision. So it's not like me. Stay tuned for, and he has nervous laughter, my demise. And it's like, wow, choice of
Yes.
words, choice of words.
Really. It's like he's self-fulfilling that it's going to be a disaster.
Yes. Yeah,
This
totally.
man. I mean, I've never been in this situation, so I don't know what to do, but
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you just got to pick one. Like we all know that you can like backtrack. Look what Ari did. He married Lauren and they're happy. And
And
sometimes it's okay. You have to like
also, what's
just
the other guy who's with the his wife now, and she was second too? The
um
other successful, there's only been like what, three
shoot.
successful Bachelor.
Ari's like the only one I can think of.
The guy before him, they live in Seattle or a suburb of Seattle now, and his wife, they're in real estate, and I think she does interior design. What? He's shorter.
Shoot.
Gosh,
I don't
what's his
know.
name? Let me look them up. Hold on, guys. We'll keep going, but I'm gonna think of this.
Okay, you got it, Arena. Sending
Hold on.
you memory
They're
vibes.
they're from a while ago, guys. So I'm sorry. This is why
Yeah,
I'm
I think
having it.
that's probably my issue. I don't think I watched that season.
I definitely did not. Oh,
So, bachelors who ended up with their runner-up.
Jason and Molly Mesnick.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they were like the
He
first when
initially
that happened.
chose Melissa Rycroft, but later realized he wanted to be with Molly, and then they married in 2010. And now they have a daughter together and then his son from a previous marriage. So it's happened twice, guys, with the
Yeah.
Bachelors.
Yeah. Still not great, but
No.
like just
But
choose Grant, you
worked
know.
out.
It will work out. And honestly though, like if it's that hard, maybe it's neither, you know?
Yeah.
It really like
If it's that hard and you if it's not like a 100% yes with either, well, you kind of have to wonder, right? Like,
yeah,
if you're that conflicted at the end, or are you just still caught on what you who you think you should choose, who you think
right.
is the one, but not really like who it is? Because you know what? That actually reminds me of Charity from her
Mhm.
season. It was Dotton and Joey at the very end. And everyone was
Yeah.
like, it's Dotton. And we all saw it because we were watching it.
Yeah.
But she was in it, guys. So there was a lot we also didn't see with her and Joey. And she was torn towards the end because they are both great guys. And she said she was in love with both of them. She said it to
Mhm.
both, and they said it to her. And she
So
was
hard.
like, even like Joey met her parents, and the parents really seemed to like Joey, and they tricked us with the footage showing that they were really into Joey and all that, but they liked Dotton too. And it was just, she was really torn, not as much as it seems Grant is, I will say that, but she was a little like, okay, I'm not 100% sure, but she knew deep down, and she just needed the time to think it through and to really
Yeah.
figure it out. That's the closest thing I can think of in recent memory where the lead is not sure between the final two. But that being said, like I said, nothing like Grant. Grant's really like, from what we can see right now, and we
Yeah.
don't know, we're going to find out in next week's episode, but it just literally looks like he's like, they're both here and he does not know.
He's like frozen.
Yeah,
Mm.
interesting.
I'm curious to know if there was a coin cost. Wow,
A
coin
coin,
toss. See, my brain,
guys,
it's sleepy
yeah,
time soon.
sleepy time.
A coin toss because that was hinted. Where was it? Was it on the podcast with who was it? Ashley, I, and Ben. What is that podcast called? I
Maybe.
forgot. Ugh,
I'm not
seriously,
sure.
guys.
It
I think
just.
that they hinted that. I could be wrong. The Almost Famous podcast. But yeah, like somebody mentioned how like there may have been a coin toss
No,
involved in
I
this. And
don't
it's
think
like,
that really happened, though.
Grant,
I
I
think
think
that's.
Jesse pulled it out and was like, listen, we got to choose. We got
No,
3 minutes.
I don't think, like, whoever said that, I don't think that really happened, though, because that's
But
really, like,
yeah. And also, couldn't
insulting
they
to
have
whoever
given
he
him a little
chooses.
more?
You
Yeah,
know?
I know. Imagine watching and you have no idea and you're like watching and you're just like,
Like,
really?
for real. Yeah. Like,
Also, like they can give him more time. Like the Bachelor
mhm.
lead, give
Yeah.
him more time. Like how many
Yeah.
of these dudes or women have been like crying and they can't see the next person? You
Yeah.
know, like I think we're all waiting around that day.
Yeah, like it's fine. And Grant said in interviews, I don't remember which ones. I definitely saw in a couple. He was like, it wasn't as like close as they make it seem in the teasers. He's like, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like literally minutes. He's like, there was more time, but he's like, but I was in love with two people. So it's also, the magic of Hollywood and editing. But it's true that there's fact in there. He was torn.
Yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see who he ends up with at the end, and for that person to see this playing back because she is watching it with,
yeah.
and they are talking about it.
Okay, all right.
She knows.
So, who do you think it is, Arena? You have to pick one right now. Who do you think the winner is?
I I think he chooses Juliana.
That's so interesting because now I think he chooses Latia. I was
I think
always thinking Juliana, but now I think that it's Latia
we switched it together.
because she said she would move.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Now, do I think they're going to be endgame? I actually don't know. I feel like that religion thing is going to catch up to them. Their lifestyle. I mean, she
Yeah.
doesn't drink,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
So there, I think it's going to catch up to them, but I think that he does choose her.
I think that, so like I said before, from what we see, and this doesn't mean it's not happening with him and Juliana, but from what we see, his connection with Latia seems way deeper and way more further along. And
Yeah,
you could, it appears that his feelings are further along with Latia too, because he actually told her that he loves her. And he said it first. He didn't
yeah,
say, he said he was falling for Juliana. So in that way, I think normally I would be like, it's Latia, but I feel like I'm being tricked because they're showing
maybe.
that it's Latia. I feel like production is showing us, oh, it's Latia. He said it first to her. She got Katie, and she's the one who ended up with Zach at the end of his season. I feel like they're like, yeah, it's Latia. It's Latia, but like in a very kind of
Wink,
like,
wink.
right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm like tricky.
They're like dazing us, where it's like we were so certain it was Daisy because of all the promos and
Yeah,
all this.
so much. But we were
Maybe that
like,
could
but
be
it's got to
it.
be Kelsey. It makes no sense with Daisy. Like we were
Yeah,
very much like, huh? Like, but
yeah.
yeah, I just don't trust the production. I think that they're up to stuff. I feel as though, like, I don't know. I just, I don't know. I just think he chooses Juliana. Will they go the distance and actually get married and be together forever for the rest of their lives? I don't know. I really don't. There's certain couples that I'm like, yes, they will. I don't know with this couple. And it doesn't mean they won't, and it doesn't mean that my opinion even matters. Like if they ever listen to this, guys,
Hmm.
it's just we're giving our critique on the episode and the recap, and it's
Yeah.
based on what we are shown, not really necessarily what's happening because we're limited to what we're shown, not what, everything. So I think he does choose Juliana, but I don't know. Will it
All we
go
can
the
do is
distance?
wait.
We will.
Season finale
Yeah, guys,
on
it's next week.
Monday. That's coming up. I mean, usually we record this on Tuesdays, but it's
Yeah,
Wednesdays.
it's Wednesday.
So like today, so it just
Three,
feels like it's coming up so
5 days.
much faster.
5 days.
Monday at 8.
Yeah, Monday,
So
8 p.m.
yeah,
your time zone, people. Whatever time zone you're. Well,
we
actually,
definitely
isn't it
have to
different in
record
Central?
next Tuesday. No ifs, ands, or
Yes.
buts.
Yes,
I'm
I will
excited.
not be out of town, so we will be recording. But we'll see what happens, guys. I think it's going to be a very interesting episode. But
Yeah,
thanks so much, guys. We kind of want to end it now, but like we're tired. But
we
thanks
are
so much for
done.
listening and watching as usual.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we will see you next time.
yeah, have a great week, guys. See
Yeah.
you next time. Follow us on Instagram, Bachelor Buzz Podcast. Like us on wherever you listen to your podcast. Share us,
Mhm.
like it, comment, let us know what you think. Have a great day.
Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye.